Hello, welcome to Rock Kaput. We are two Germans talking about rock music and metal, and we do it in English. My name is Oliver.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome aboard. And today we are going to rank the catalog of Irish rock band Thin Lizzy. As a small introduction, I wasn't really that familiar with their catalog. The only record I ever owned by Thin Lizzy was their live album, Live and Dangerous, which I loved. And I always wanted to dive into their discography and get to know them better. But yeah, somehow it never happened. So when Alex suggested to rank their catalog, he was kind of like kicking in open doors. And I said, let's do it. And I listened to all the albums in order in the last couple of weeks, and I ranked them. So, as you might know from yourselves, when you're kind of soaking up 12 albums in a row, uh, trying to rank them, yeah, it works a little differently than if you know them and have lived with them for a long time. So none of this is carved in stone. It might switch in the next couple of months or years. Um, I like all of the albums. I don't think they've recorded a bad album, but obviously I like some better than others. Yeah, enough um, of an introduction. Let's dive right in with my album number 12, which is their 1981 album Renegade. The album is, I think, having read about yeah, their discography and listen to other vloggers who rank their catalogs. It's kind of controversial album because it's the first album where they are using synthesizers in a big way. It's and you hear that they are entering a new decade, going into the 80s. Influences their sound. It's a bit more streamlined, maybe a bit more hard rock than what they did before. Some of their influences from folk are a bit marginalized on that one. Um, but it's still a good album. It has a great opener. I think Angel of Death is a great opener, very rocking tune. And I also love the second song, which is the title track Renegade, which is a more somber song. And I think that's generally a kind of mode where Thin Lizzy are very great in, more melancholic songs, introverted stuff, ballads even. So yeah, that's a good one too. Um, Not everything is great on here. There are two more songs that are a bit more roots rock. I'd say uh, Fats, which is about Fats Domino, but then Phil sings it in a kind of Louis Armstrong voice, which I thought was odd. And Leave This Town, which is a straight up rockabilly song, I think. And yeah, I don't care for these type of songs that much. Hollywood is a great song. Yeah, it's a good album. I just like it the least from all of their stuff. So that was number 12. Number 11 for me is their debut album. And actually, I had it ranked higher because I listened to it on Spotify, and on Spotify, there's their New Day EP included, which came the same year, a bit later. And it has, to me, one of their greatest songs, Remembering Part 2 on it, which actually isn't part of the album proper. So if you exclude the EP and just look at the debut, I had to rank it a bit lower, but I still love it. It's more of a of a mood record for me because it has this very warm sound. To me, it felt as if I was walking into an Irish pub or an English pub, and there's this band playing. Yeah, and the sound is a bit more folky, bluesy, and jammy than what Thin Lizzy did later on, and I think it's a good fit for them. Um, and there are some great songs on it. Honesty is no excuse is great, I think. Um, yeah, but there was still room to develop, and yeah, so it's my number 11. Number 10 is a is an album from way later in the discography. It's Black Rose. Um, and I think at this point in their career, they were um, operating at with high efficiency, you might say. They're exactly doing, knowing what they're doing, um, and there isn't a bad song on it. Um, it just, to me, it feels maybe a bit too professional. I don't know how to put it. There is a real standout track missing for me, and after what came before, it feels a bit like a step down, I think. Best songs are Do Anything You Want To, which is the opener, Toughest Street in Town, Waiting for an Alibi. I totally love With Love, which is another example of Thin Lizzy doing yeah, more ballad kind of song. Um, yeah, but maybe it might rise over time, but right now it sits on number 10 for me. So it's your turn.
Okay. My number 12 is their sophomore album, Shades of a Blue Orphanage. I think it has a little bit of tinny production, especially the drums don't sound as good as on the debut, and there is some filler material on it, but still some standout tracks like Buffalo Girl or Brought Down. I really love those two. They are really by far the best songs. I don't like the rest of the album that much. So this the number 12 really was kind of a no-brainer for me. Okay, the number 11 is maybe a contrarian pick. It's Thunder and Lightning, the 80s hard rock album with synthi sounds and guitar hero John Sykes coming in with a totally different guitar sound. And Thin Lizzy sounds a lot like John Sykes and his style and his sound, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but for me, by me, it lacks an essential part of Thin Lizzy. An essential part of Thin Lizziness is missing for me. So it's kind of a different album. It feels a little bit like John Sykes' album with Phil Lynott as the lead singer, if that makes sense. More than a Thin Lizzy album, but it's still, of course, Brian Downey is also a big part on it, and it's still a very good album, and it has a very good sequencing, a very good flow. All the tracks fit nicely together. It's a very good 80s poppy 80s hard rock album with standout tracks are Baby Please Don't Go. Um, the Sun Goes Down is really a very good slow song with synths, tasteful synths. It's still really a good album, and it's also a very good last album for a band. Not every band goes down with such excellence, so it's really good. But I like others more. Like number 10. For example, it's Renegade. Um, Renegade doesn't have a sequencing as good as Thunder and Lightning because it feels a little bit the first track, Angel of Death, doesn't really fit on the album. And then use it as the first track is feels very strange to me. Um, I would I would have left it out and maybe put it on Thunder and Lightning, and it would would kind of be a better album, to be honest. Yeah. And the title track is great. The twin guitars from Snowy White and Scott are great. I really love it, and they are it's maybe one of their top three songs for me. I would say it's even that good, which brought the album a bit higher. I also like Hollywood. It's also one of their best songs, and their genre experiments they did, like rockabilly and Tex-Mex, and the song you mentioned, Fats, yeah, are also quite nice, but I don't consider them as high points in the Thin Lizzy canon. But yeah, still a very good album, and I love the album cover. It's really nice of Renegade. The flag and the colors, really beautiful. Okay, back to you.
So my number 9 is Chinatown, which is from 1980. So it directly follows Black Rose, which I had on the slot before. Um, and to me, they are kind of interchangeable. Um, I like Chinatown a little bit better, um, but it has, for me, it has kind of the same problems, and the feeling is kind of the same. It's a good collection of songs which don't really cohere to an artistic statement. You know, it's just a collection of songs to me, which are very professional. I mean, like I said before, Thin Lizzy knew what they were doing by that point. Great songwriters, of course, but yeah, something is missing that was there before. I think that's for me. That's the reason for ranking it that low. Um, but it has one of Thin Lizzy's best songs on it, I think, which is Genocide. Um, it's great, and I also love the opener, We Will Be Strong. Very melodic, melancholic tune, very great. I also like Didn't I and Hey You. The rest, yeah, there's not a bad song on it, but the other songs are, yeah, not that great. Chinatown is still good, the title track. I don't like Killer on the Loose that much. Yeah, so that's my number 9. Number 8 for me is their second album, Shades of a Blue Orphanage. Um, and yeah, maybe weird ranking because obviously it's not yet that developed, or Thin Lizzy are not that developed as a band at this point. Um, yeah, but somehow I like those early albums. They are kind of moody things, drenched in atmosphere, I guess, and that makes up for what they are might be lacking in songwriting, I think. Um, I love the title track, Shades of a Blue Orphanage. Brought Down is beautiful. Chatting Today is also great. Um, yeah, I love this album. It's not quite what Thin Lizzy would become, and I agree with you that the early albums are more a way to understand where they are coming from and to understand the foundation on which they build their sound. But yeah, I like it a lot. So that's my number 8. And number 7 is the next one in their discography, which is Vagabonds of the Western World. Um, and yeah, that's a bit of a transitional album. I think you hear the style they're developing, which they would go on from this point. You know, the melodic leads and stuff. And it has great songs, which is a step up from the albums before. The opener, Mama Nature Said, is great. Totally love it. The title track is great, and Little Girl in Bloom is a highlight. Um, the Rocker is actually one of their more popular tunes, I think, and it also was included on their live album, Life and Dangerous. I don't like it that much. It's a good song, but yeah, it's I have to say that the really rocking tunes are for me not the high points in the Thin Lizzy catalog. I like it when they're operating, on a more melodic level, a bit more yeah, toned down. Um, that's the Thin Lizzy I like the most. So yeah, that's my number 7.
Okay. Good. My number 9 is the debut. Um, I really like it a lot, as you mentioned, for its atmosphere of this early 70s vibe. You really get the impression to walk into an Irish bar and this band is playing. That is really what I also hear when I put on this debut. I also like Honesty is No Excuse. And I also love the song Look What the Wind Just Drew In, because it has this kind of weird, non-obvious riff, and they are really jamming along on it. And it's really, really a very, very good song. I like the some live version on in the bonus section somewhere even better. But the album version still is really rocking. I really like it. And yeah, I also want, yeah, this album could actually rank a little bit higher as well for me because I wanted to highlight Phil the Balladeer a little bit more because it's essential in my opinion, to understand Thin Lizzy, to know where he is coming from. And you could hear it later on in the career as well, that lyrics are very important to him and even more important than the melodies of some of his singing, maybe, because sometimes he's just very often it's a mixture between melody and talking, and that's his style. Very often he does it. Sometimes he has melodies, but he's a balladeer in his heart, and Thin Lizzy at its core. And I think you have to know the debut if you really want to understand Thin Lizzy. So that's my number 9. Number 8 is Nightlife, their soul slash Motown slash funk album, which was the first album of the twin guitar section, Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson. And they on this album, their guitar playing is so tasteful. They are so good at playing the soul stuff that it feels kind of strange and funny that they switched their sound on the next album to this more rocking stuff, and they are great as well, which is really kind of mind blowing. Yeah, that those musicians are that good. And Nightlife is also a very, very good album. And I really like it a lot. Standout tracks is She Knows, and it's on the money. Um, I really like those two. My number 7 is yeah, I think this is the most interesting album for me at the moment because before going into this exercise, I wasn't really familiar with it. And I really like it a lot. It's Vagabonds of the Western World, maybe also their best album cover, and it's really really good. And the last one with founding member Eric Bell, and it also showcases his guitar playing. He's a very very good guitar player. In the first track, his guitar playing is awesome. There are sections in other songs in which his guitar is great. So I really, really like it a lot. This also could rise higher in my list. That's my number 7.
Okay, great. So I'm going to continue with my number 6, which you already talked about. It's their last album from 1983, Thunder and Lightning, which many consider to be kind of their heavy metal album, which has to do with the entry of John Sykes, you already mentioned, would later go on to play for Whitesnake, Blue Murder, stuff like that. One of the shredders of the 80s. And yeah, he has clear influence on their sound. The whole thing is, I think, more streamlined, more polished. The production is yeah, cleaner might be the wrong term, because it's still a heavy album. But I have to say I like it a lot. And I would have loved to see how Thin Lizzy would have developed from there if Phil Lynott wouldn't have didn't die 2 years later, I think. Would have been interesting what how they would have continued from there. Um, Songwriting is great. I think there are lots of great songs on it. Highlights for me are The Holy War and Baby Please Don't Go, which are both great. The title track I like a lot. This Is the One is great. The Sun Goes Down, you already mentioned it, is beautiful. Don't like Bad Habits that much. And then there's another example for those rockers I mentioned, which are to me not which is not um, the mode where Thin Lizzy operates on full capacity. It's Cold Sweat was later covered by German thrash legend Sodom, and it's almost has something. To me, it almost sounds a bit like Thin Lizzy doing Motorhead. Martin Popov said it's heavy for heaviness sake, which yeah, I think is a yeah, pretty good description of it. So that's my number 6, and on number 5 I have 1 second, please. Yeah, I have Johnny the Fox on number 5. And it might be an odd choice, because I think up to, even if I didn't rank the albums that way, but I think you could say that from their debut to Jailbreak, Thin Lizzy are on a straight line, getting better and better. Their songwriting maturing, and getting rid of bloat and stuff like that. And Johnny the Fox for me is the first album where they kind of hit a plateau and don't really move on further from Jailbreak, which came before. And there are minor things with this album that have always kind of bothered me, which might be nitpicky, but I never liked that their first 2 tracks are called Johnny and Rocky. To me, even if the songs are okay, to me that always seems like working titles, as if they had no idea how to call the songs, or just forgot to give them real titles. And then to add to that, there's another song called Johnny the Fox meets Jimmy the Weed. So there's 2 songs with the name Johnny in it. Maybe an explanation for this is that as I've read, Phil Lynott fell ill during writing and recording, I think. I think he got hepatitis or something like that. And it was planned as a kind of a concept album, but it's more or less unfinished. So it isn't really a concept album. They kind of stopped with the storytelling in the middle. And maybe that's the reason why, yeah, there are some titles on it that feel like unfinished. It's still a good album, a very good album. Beautiful songs on it, Borderline, Don't Believe a Word, which I think was kind of a hit single for them. And one of their absolute classics to me is Massacre. Totally love it. Then there's Boogie Woogie Dance, which I don't care that much about. Yeah, but a good album, obviously. Which leads me to my number four, which is Nightlife, the one you mentioned before. And yeah, I don't have that much to add. I agree with you. It's probably their most soulful album. Um, Another transitional album, if you will, or maybe it's a cul-de-sac or something because they didn't really build on that one, and kind of yeah, went another route after that one. But I think it fits them really well, especially Phil Lynott's singing voice, obviously. Um, Great tunes on there. She Knows, Still in Love with You, Showdown, Banshee. Then there's the song dedicated to Phil's mom called Philomena, which is beautiful. Um, and the whole album has a vibe I totally love. It's what the sound encapsulates the title, Nightlife. I think it would be a perfect album to drive through deserted city streets or something like that, just soaking in the vibe. um, Great album, love it a lot. It's my number four.
Mhm. Okay. So my number six is a Bad Reputation. It's kind of a difficult album for them. They had a lot of fighting going on. I think they kicked Brian Robertson out of the band, but I think he's still playing on two or three songs, a solo or something. And then, of course, the famous album cover without him, which was not really very nice in the end. I think most fans hate this cover, not only because it's bad, because Brian is missing. So yeah, to me, it's also a kind of a difficult album. It's not bad by any means, but I think it has a weird, to me, weird sequencing. I think to me it feels more like a collection of random songs, and not really an album experience. And some of those songs I like, some not so much, and some are great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's to me, I don't know. I don't like how the album starts. I like the song Soldier of Fortune, but to me, I would have put this at the end of the album. It would, I don't know. I mean, this war theme, it's kind of a difficult topic. I don't know. I don't like the sequencing on this album at all, but still there are great songs on it. I love Southbound is one of my favorite Thin Lizzy songs, and that Woman's Gonna Break Your Heart, the last one. I also love that one, and of course also Bad Reputation, the great Brian Downey showcase, drumming showcase. It's really good. I like some live versions of this better. I don't. The production feels to me is on every track is a bit different, and I don't like the production on Bad Reputation, for example, that much. But I love it on Southbound. So yeah, it's still a great Thin Lizzy album, but it doesn't have the flow for me. That's why it's still number six. It's really high in the ranking, but not as good as some others. So then on number five, Black Rose comes in. I really like this album a lot. It's a bit of a light-hearted Thin Lizzy album, I would say. Like Do Anything You Want to Do. It's kind of an upbeat feel. I like it, but it's also a bit, I don't know, less meaningful, kind of more of a light-hearted way. Nothing wrong with that. But my one of my favorites is Waiting on an Alibi. It's one of their best songs and backing vocals from heaven, I would say. Not sure who is singing it. Maybe also, I think Gary Moore is also one of the vocalists, and I think Probably probably the guitar player, the other guitar player, Scott. Probably Scott. Yeah, I really love the backing vocals on it. And yeah, and I'm not a big fan, and I've never been a big fan. I didn't mention this before of the electrified Celtic folk stuff. That's not really my thing. This is a part of Thin Lizzy, even though I like the band. I like their folk to be. I like it when it's acoustic, but this electrification of Irish folk, I don't know. And on the last track, they really go over the top for me. It's a little bit. It's a little bit too much. I don't like that. I like the rest of the album very much. It's a very good album. I don't like the album cover that much, but still Black Rose number 5. Number 4 is yeah, it's maybe a weird pick. I was surprised as well that it came that high, but it's really Chinatown. I think We Will Be Strong is, for me, it's their best opening track on any album. It's that strong of a song. I really like it, and it's a very cohesive album from front to back. You could listen to it, drink beer. I agree with you. It doesn't have a lot of substance in its songs, in most of the songs. It's a very on surface level, also in the lyrics album. It's not very deep, but but its entertainment factor is still very high for me. So I really like it a lot. And it came to number 4. And I also agree that Genocide is one of their best songs. Of course, that one is meaningful, but as a whole, the album, not so much. Okay, your turn.
So we're at the top three, and yeah, I mean it goes for the whole discography. Very strong albums. It all could still switch and change, and that goes especially for the first three, I think, which are all great. And yeah, I just ranked them by instinct. Had them ranked differently before, but yeah, I'm happy how it turned out. And my number 3 is Fighting. Um, and I love this album, and I actually thought to put it even higher because I like the whole attitude of the thing. I love the cover, the band just posing in the streets. I think Phil Lynott has a vest over his bare chest or something like that, and they're just looking really cool. And the whole album, after Nightlife, which we said was a soulful album, yeah, this is kind of the start of what Thin Lizzy would be known for later, I think, but it's still a bit more gritty, almost a bit punky, I would say. Um, and yeah, I think that's just a really cool album with great songs throughout. It starts strong with Rosalie, which I think is one of their best tracks. Suicide is great. Wild One is great. Fighting My Way Back is great. Those are all in a row. And King's Vengeance is a cool song. Ballad of a Heart Man. It's just a fun album. And yeah, a great foundation for what would come afterwards, I think. So number 2, probably their most popular album. I think their best-selling album. Great cover artwork by Jim Fitzpatrick, very iconic. Of course, I'm talking about Jailbreak. Strong album front to back, hardly a bad song on there. Lots of songs everyone knows from the radio or from greatest hits collections or whatever. Jailbreak, Angel from the Coast. I love Running Back, which is a song that shouldn't work with its kind of cheesy, I don't know, it's an organ or synth line, but it's just perfect. Always has me singing along to it. Romeo and the Lonely Girl with a very stupid rhyme that only Phil Lynott could pull off. Romeo sitting all on his onio, uh, which is it's funny and great at the same time. Boys Are Back in Town, of course, their most popular song probably. Um, Maybe a little worn out, but I still love it. Um, Cowboy song, and yeah, maybe this is my favorite song of Thin Lizzy, Emerald, which closes the album. Um, Great album. Looking at it, I'm wondering why it's not ranked number one, because I like the next one even better, Bad Reputation. And I agree with your criticism that maybe you could say it's just a collection of good songs, but the songs are just so good. I love almost every one of them. Um, Soldier of Fortune, Bad Reputation, Opium Trail is great. Southbound is beautiful. Dancing in the Moonlight, I love that one. Um, Downtown Sundown, That Woman's Gonna Break Your Heart, and Dear Lord. I think the weakest track is Killer Without a Cause, and even that one is good. So yeah, it's almost like a greatest hits record. I mean, could put a couple of songs from the other albums on there, and it would be a straight 10. Um, I love it. It's maybe a problematic album. You said it before. It's an album with internal struggle, where internal struggle set in, but you don't hear it. I think I love it. Yeah, the top three are all great, and you won't go wrong with any of them. So that's my top three.
Okay. Good. Here are mine. So my number three is Johnny the Fox. So I agree. I mean, for the time, it certainly was a step down from Jailbreak and maybe a bit disappointing for some. But to me, this album has always been a bit of a grower. I always appreciated it more and more. And I think from front to back, it's a very and also the production is great. Yeah, from front to back, it's really a very good listen. So, and yeah, the tracks they read like working titles. Johnny, Rocky. Yeah, you're right about that. But it doesn't bother me, fortunately, that much. So. And yes, of course, Don't Believe a Word is one of their best tracks, hands down. It's beautiful. I think this song probably appeals to everybody. So it's really great. Another highlight for me is Johnny the Fox meets Jimmy the Wheat. It's a very funky track, and it's really probably Thin Lizzy at their funkiest. I really love it, and I also like all the other tracks except for Boogie Woogie Dance. I really don't understand why they put it on the album. It's really not good at all. So, but yeah, and great album cover, of course, like you mentioned. My number two is Jailbreak. Their most popular album probably with yeah, of course, the twin lead attack. Everything we love about Thin Lizzy is on here. Great songs. Boys Are Back in Town, Rosalie. I love them all. And to me, Boys Are Back in Town, it really I could listen to it any day and I love it. So it's really not worn out or anything. I love it. So some songs are really after all these years, it's to me it's really one of the greatest Thin Lizzy songs still, and I still like it. You can say that about yeah, I don't know. for some other classic bands from the 70s, I wouldn't say the same. I don't want to hear the hit songs like Paranoid from Black Sabbath, for example. I don't want to hear it anymore. I have heard it too many times. And I would also say it's not one of their best songs. With Thin Lizzy, to me, it's different. So I really like it. And as you mentioned, I would totally agree. Emerald is one of their best songs, one of their best heavy rockers. And yeah, great album. What always bothered me a little bit is I mean, Phil Lynott is a very good lyricist usually, but Jailbreak's lyrics, yeah, are kind of stupid. Yeah, tonight there's going to be a jailbreak somewhere in this town. Yeah, probably a jail. Somewhere. It's kind of a line that always bothered me. So.
Maybe
And
there's more than one jail in town.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that in which jail is the question. But yeah, I wouldn't call this great lyrics. So, but and I also don't consider Jailbreak one of the best songs. It's pretty good, and it was a hit back then, of course. Yeah, to me there are much better songs on the album. And my number one is I was surprised myself. It is Fighting. I really love this album because it's so raw. I usually tend to like albums that are recorded raw because it's that kind of a little bit of a punk rock spirit, a bit of a do-it-yourself and in your face. We don't care about the production. The production is also much rougher than what would later come with Bad Reputation and Chinatown and Jailbreak and so on. And yeah, I think it captures a certain spirit of the 70s of freedom. One song is even called Freedom Song. That I really like about this, that the other albums lack. I also like the album cover. I mean, I think there are two album covers. I think there's a North American cover, which is very cool, which has a very good lighting, and then is one poser cover where they kind of posing like they are fighters, which is a little bit embarrassing. I wouldn't call that cover that good, but the other one is really tasteful. I mean, it's a band shot. It's a little bit boring and maybe less artistic. But I like covers with band shots when they're done well, and I think it's a very nice photo of the band, and it was the first one, the twin guitar attack of Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson was in full effect, and they are great. And I love the album from front to back. It's really great, and I can also recommend it to anybody starting to discover Thin Lizzy. So it's a really good album. Fighting is my number one.
Cool, great. I like that you have it on number one because I wasn't courageous enough to put it there because I like it as well. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's one of those albums, you know, like lightning in a bottle. You know, there's something's about to start on this one, and it's
Yeah.
they feel very hungry, and maybe it's not that perfect like what they did afterwards. Yeah, but it's just a cool guys album, I think.
Yes,
The cover's fitting perfectly. Yeah,
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, great. I hope you enjoyed our very first video on the channel. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up or your comments. If you have a different ranking or disagree with us, please let us know. And yeah, stay tuned for what's about to come next. We have some other rankings planned. Yeah, maybe some other ideas as well. Just let's see what's going to happen here on Rock Kaput. Two Germans talking all things rock and metal. See you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.